We will go back to sitting as the Board of Supervisors. Item 6.4, consideration of presentation by the University of California MasterGardeners of Lake County. UC Extension Director Matthew Barnes will be coming and presenting. Bless you, bless you.
Thanks.
Good morning, Chair Crandall, Board. Matthew Barnes, Area Director, Lake and Mendocino Counties for the University of California Cooperative Extension. Joined today by Luis Pagon, Lake County Master Gardener Program Coordinator. Luis fell in love and developed a passion with gardening as a child. She especially took to flowers and growing flowers. So it was a natural fit in May of 2016 to become a Lake County Master Gardener volunteer. It wasn't until November of 2020 that she became the program coordinator. So 5 years later, she's done a great job growing the program, and we're excited to hear all about it.
Good morning, excuse me, I always a little squeaky when I start. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for your time this morning. And also, I did want to say thank you for your continued support of our program. It really does help to know that you sort of have our back metaphorically. I've also brought copies of our latest impact report from the Master Gardener State Office, and I'm just going to leave them here for you. There's also a one sheet in there talking about one of our Master Gardeners who's probably had, I would say, probably the most impact of any of the Master Gardeners that we've had or have. So starting with our slides, this is just a brief overview of who we are, what we do, and what we're looking forward to in the future. Most Master Gardeners are your friends and neighbors. We've got many varied former careers, scientists, teachers, project managers. I used to be a records clerk. Obviously, we love to garden. That's a no-brainer. And we love meeting new people because we go to events and the first thing we do is meet a new person who has a gardening question. And of course, we love a plant. Next slide, please. We do love to share our knowledge of gardening. That is our mission from the state office. We do like to, share this knowledge because a lot of things we have do impact people on more than one level. We love to collaborate with other Master Gardener groups and with each other and with our clients. That's the citizens of Lake County. We also collaborate with the Lake County 4-H and their junior master program. We're kind of we're heading towards being the mentors of the high schoolers that will be teaching the kids how to garden. And we've been collaborating and consulting on many gardens, school gardens around the entire lake. We collaborate extensively with the tribal health clinics, and that is the one sheet in there that talks about Gabrielle O'Neill, who is my predecessor as far as program coordinator, but she has been working with tribal health and the current legacy garden for probably close to 15 years. And there's a lot of really nice information in there about how her impact. Last year, I heard that they raised 5,000 pounds of vegetables to give to the clientele of the clinics. She teaches gardening classes all through the summer and the fall at approximately, I'd say, 3 to 5 per year, depending on what the topics are selected. Next slide. The extension just signed a collaboration with Middletown Rancheria, and they have a wonderful community garden there. So we're looking forward to doing some collaboration and some teaching classes there as they would like. We care for our demonstration gardens. As you can see, this was from a few years ago when they were still in their infancy. This is the stock tank garden, and it's now filled with lots of pollinator-friendly succulents. We also have a radio show on KPFZ that we broadcast every other Tuesday. In fact, it'll be a week from today will be our next show. And we'll be celebrating our 3rd anniversary in November. We also attend festivals. That's kind of our becoming our kind of stock in trade. We just got back from the Big Valley Small Farms tour. We were at the Blackberry Cobbler Festival. We're going to be going to an event at Vision of Hope, and we'll be going to the Dia de los Muertos event in November. So we do like to get out. We meet so many great people and get to answer so many fun questions because gardening in Lake County can be a bit of a challenge. Next slide, please. Some of the things going forward, we are beginning to really emphasize fire-safe landscaping and home hardening. That's coming directly from our state office. We are now starting to think about climate change on a more regular basis. It's not something that happens to other gardeners. It's happening to us too. We're also learning to be scouts for all kinds of invasive species. The big ones on the list right now are the tree of heaven and the spotted lanternfly. They're the two that are probably the most worrisome to the state CDFA. And we know that the knowledge that we get will also help gardeners in the future because let's face it, invasive plants and insects do not recognize, oh, I'll only go here. They'll go any place they see a plant that looks like they want to invade. Next slide, please. So this is one of the ones, and this is kind of a little PSA for everybody out there as well. This beautiful creature on the left is the invasive lanternfly adult. And there it is in one of the instar phases up on the top right. And then its favorite host plant, the tree of heaven, which is everywhere in Lake County and pretty much the entire state of California. It looks really beautiful, but this little critter has been on the East Coast for the last about 15 years, and it's in 19 states. And California is very concerned about this because this particular little animal is like an aphid-like. It likes to latch on to various plants and suck the living daylights out of them. It literally is like a little vampire. And the problem is it really likes grapevines, if you can kind of see where I'm going with that. It also likes any kind of tree, any kind of plant, flower, vegetable, you name it. So we're trying to make sure that we can either keep it out of California, which may be impossible, or to at least see it as soon as possible so we can start taking, steps. Not we, Master Gardeners, but the state of California can take steps. Next slide, please. The nice part about this thing, if there is a nice part about this particular lanternfly, is it doesn't hurt people. So it doesn't bite, doesn't sting, but it's after agricultural crops that are, vital to our economy and to the state of California. I've heard numbers that if this particular insect gets into the entire state, that it could be billions of dollars in lost revenue because no one wants to buy it if it's contaminated. And of course, if they've destroyed it, no one's going to be able to buy it. Next slide, please. But after all the drama with invasives, we do try to kind of stay humorous and try to have a good time because who hasn't, thought they bought the perfect little plant. It turns out to be 10 feet tall and 10 feet wide, and you're in a corner where it's like 3 by 3. But of course, gardening cartoons help, and I will leave you with a little humor, which is what ladybugs really look like when they're down and doing their job, which is basically death to anything that looks like an aphid. And then, of course, the swear jar versus you telling your clientele that all those beautiful flowers are invasive and really do need to go because they're out competing everything that we love and hold dear in Lake County. So that's, I think, the end of it. Yeah. And if you have any questions about our program at all right now, or if you don't, you can always give me a call or drop by and look at our mound garden and our stock tank garden. And I do want to thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it that you let us come and talk to you and tell you about us. So thank you
for that. Supervisor Pyska.
Well, thank you, Louise. And the Master Gardeners have a very special place in my heart.
I know, but I appreciate that very much.
And Matt, thank you for helping get these presentations going. It's been really great to hear from all the UCCE programs. The other invasive that you're watching out for is mob, Mediterranean oak borer.
Oh, yes.
And I'm wondering if the Master Gardeners are helping with the state, like any sort of tracking or figuring that out yet, because it is here. It's been a really rough summer for our oaks. We're losing them rapidly. And there aren't any specific grants or programs yet for it, which is pretty baffling.
I do believe Dr. Mike Jones, who is the forester for Lake Mendo and Sonoma, I believe it's Sonoma also, he is in with a group, and I know Clerk is also looking into it.
Yep.
And basically what Dr. Jones had told us when he came to give us the bad news, I'm like, great, another invasive. He basically said he thought Master Gardeners might see it first because the trees are going to start looking bad and people will come to us and say, what's wrong with my oak tree? We haven't really had that many people come and tell us that. I think because there has been such an information dispersal, that people know if they start seeing problems with their oak trees, they should call an arborist sooner rather than later to have them look and see what it really is, because we're not quite qualified to diagnose Mediterranean oak borer infestation, because unfortunately oak trees are probably subject to every kind of disease and fungus on the planet, and the Mediterranean oak borer, I understand, loves everything that sudden oak death does not. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's tough.
Well, it's just helpful to have the master gardeners informed on what to look for, or if they're hearing something, where to direct them. And clerk
Oh, yes.
has their tracking.
If we do we usually tell people if they're having problems, big problems with trees, because we can't really go up 50 feet on a ladder or whatever an arborist does, we'll advise them to contact a licensed arborist ASAP and get it looked at and diagnosed, because the arborist can say that's sudden oak death, that's Mediterranean oak borer, where we're going to go, okay, the tree looks like there's part of it dying, and because oaks are prone to so many diseases, it could be one of any number of things, because we're too far away to actually see the damage up close and personal.
Yeah. The other part you mentioned was the Firewise landscaping, and I know we've talked about this a lot.
Yes.
The Risk Reduction Authority even had a town hall on this a few years ago.
Yes, we did.
But now that we're moving to the 0 to 5 foot clearance, zone 0, and that's going to, starting January 1st, be everywhere and affect all of us. So I was just wondering how master gardeners are planning for this. If you have, a lot of people think that it looks really ugly if you just take everything away from your house, but there's actually ways that you can make it look really nice.
Oh, yes.
You can move those prized plants away from the house. So I was just wondering how Master Gardeners is sort of planning for that to, have some maybe positive examples.
Well, the one thing when you said that people say it's ugly, that's the first thing I tell people is it doesn't have to be ugly unless you want it to be. Bare earth, which is totally fine because it can get expensive if you really want to do all the bells and whistles. But gravel, you can put down brick. You can do many things. I've seen a few that are almost OCD-like in their designs, where one rock out of place and you're in trouble. It's like, that's a little too much for me. But you can make it beautiful and have curb appeal, because I know people worry, well, what if I want to sell my house and there's this big thing around it? So we have lots of examples that we can show people that, if you have to start with bare earth, by all means start with bare earth, because it's one thing to save up for bricks. It's another thing to talk to your insurance company about why your house burned down. So that's kind of how we're taking it. It doesn't have to be ugly. It is effective. There's a woman in Humboldt that's who's like a specialist in home hardening, Jana Velikovic. Mm-hmm. She has said that in her opinion, that if we all follow the 0 to 5 no grow zone, that it's a significant percentage of houses would not burn down. And she's got the photographs, and she's been down to LA, and she's noticed a lot of things that have made a huge difference in houses that did survive that fire and houses that didn't. And sometimes it came down to the fire department or the firefighters going through and cutting down a wood gate that was touching the house. So there's a lot of easy fixes that do not have to cost an arm and a leg and everything else.
Great. Yeah, Jana is incredible.
Yes.
And it is, this is science-based. So, yeah, I really look forward to seeing how we can help maybe coordinate or promote some materials that you're developing locally.
We're going to be waiting to see what the state office is. Right now, we're kind of following what CAL FIRE is advising. And if you go in and Google images of like 0 to 5, zone 0, you'll see a lot of really great examples of what you could do in your own property if you're feeling that way. One of the things that we do try to tell people, because we're a fairly independent group that lives here, and I've heard a lot of people saying, well, they can't tell me what to do. And the problem is maybe there'll be a state law, but the one you really don't want to have tell you anything negative is your insurance company, because they can come in and just say, sorry, we're not renewing because you're not doing zone 0. And then you're between a rock and a hard place if you're not following that particular law.
All right.
Thank you.
There's nothing else from the board. I'll open it up to the public for anyone that would like to come up and speak. All right. I'll bring bring it back to the board and we'll close this out. Thank you again for the presentation. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. And we'll go ahead and move on to our next item. Thank you.
Great. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.